Hi, I'm Ted Griffin, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about SKYACTIV technology. And I'm going to call this kind of SKYACTIV technology for dummies. Why? Because I'm not a mechanical genius. I don't know how this engine works. Most of our consumers don't know how this engine works. They know that it gets them from point A to point B, and they want to do that as efficiently and safely as possible. The U.S. government agrees with them. They put mandates for it that says you have to get from point A to point B this efficiently. And now we want to say how Mazda did it. And I'm gonna do a little bit of analogy to Steve Jobs, our icon. You know, Apple didn't invent the smartphone. They didn't invent the iPad. They didn't invent the computer. He just told his people, hey, this is what's there. Go find a way to make it better. Mazda's kind of the same way. We didn't invent the car. We didn't invent the engine. We didn't invent the frame. We didn't invent the transmission. So what did Mazda say? They said, do the same thing Steve Jobs did. You go take this existing thing and find ways to make it better. Our way to make it better, SKYACTIV technology. Okay. This is the first gen SKYACTIV technology. This encompasses the engine components of SKYACTIV, the transmission components of SKYACTIV. We've got a second component coming up soon that I'll tell you about a little bit later. And like I said, I'm not a genius when it comes to engines. Don't know how it works. Most of our consumers don't either. I'm not going to tell you how it works. I'm going to tell you what they did and what it does for you, the consumer. Okay? To start with, there's this thing called compression ratio. Compression ratio equals power. Okay? We increase the compression ratio from the typical 3 to 4 to 1 up to 12 to 1 in this engine, highest compression ratio in the industry. Usually something that you find in high performance cars, race cars, that kind of thing. All require premium fuel. We did it. Still using regular unleaded. Okay. Increased compression ratio, increased power. Secondly, we looked at things called the injection system. Okay. And how the injection system works. Most people use something called a single hole injection. Our engineers said, hey, put 6 holes in there. You spread it out even further there, you get a cleaner, more efficient burn, less fuel loss, better efficiency. Okay. Then they looked at the pistons. Okay. I really couldn't tell you what a piston is and what it does in here, but they changed the design of the pistons from kind of this type design, a mountaintop, if you will, to a volcanic. Again, why? Because they found that along with that high pressure injection they put in there, going into this type of system, you get a cleaner, more efficient burn, more efficient, better economy. Then they went to the transmission. You see a lot of people, you've heard CVTs, transmissions. You've got people looking at various ways to get this efficiency, the hybrids, the electric cars, all that kind of stuff. What they did, they found a way to reduce the weight of the transmission, but you wanted to have seamless, smooth shifting throughout the whole operating curve, if you will, of the automobile. Okay. They found that by using this thing called a torque converter, reducing it a little bit, using it at low speeds, going to a multi-clutch transmission for the higher speeds would accomplish just what they wanted, that smooth, seamless shifting. Okay? So what do we do overall? Increase compression ratio, increase power. We increase the way the engine operates, the way it burns the fuel, the effectiveness that it burns the fuel with, increased miles per gallon. That's the way Mazda's getting to the future. Okay? Did we compromise any of our zoom or fun to drive? No, we made it even better. More power, more efficient. Still got that big smile on your face when you get behind the Mazda. I mentioned the second generation. You want to have some fun right now? Go in and Google Mazda CX-5 reviews. They gave this vehicle to the press corps up in Iceland a few months ago. They loved it. Absolutely love it. Read about the whole thing, the rest of SKYACTIV, not just the engine, the transmission, the frame, the body, everything about the car Mazda looked at and improved. We think our consumers are going to love it. It's going to give them, again, better efficiency, better power, and we still got our zoom fun to drive.